Hi folks, what you're looking at here is a pile where there used to be a pile of log length firewood that from the summer through early winter where we are now I've been cutting. And I had a couple times where I was having lunch and looking at the work I'd done and realizing that I've come quite a long way since I started using a chainsaw. So what I wanted to do today was just give you a chance to walk alongside and kind of see how I do things, and maybe you can learn a tip or two, or if you see something you can share, please put it below in the comments. I purchased a pair of safety chaps and a helmet over the summer, so what I've gotten in the habit of doing is making sure I have the chain brake on my chainsaw and starting the chainsaw and letting it warm up while I put on my safety gear. That ensures that I'm going to be safe without taking a lot more time. The bar on the saw is 20 inches, and I'm going to say this is probably maybe a 25, 28 inch red maple log there. And I've already cut half of it off, and I'm working on the second half now. A tool I picked up over the summer, which I wish I had gotten years earlier, is this cant hook. It just is so nice that you can really move the big logs with a lot less effort and struggle than any other ways. In the old days, I would have used a crowbar to try to move this log, and it would have been very difficult. And you know, there was a time years ago I purchased one of those log holders with the stand on it, and you can get a foot for this one as well. But I really like just the sheer simplicity of the cant hook without the foot. And I personally prefer to cut the logs and then just use the cant hook to roll it, as opposed to holding the log off the ground. Something I always try to do, and some days I do better than others, is keep all my tools in one central area, preferably standing up so I don't have to bend over to pick them up, and preferably in a place that's convenient as well. But what I'm doing here is I want to finish the cut on these logs. So the logs are going to roll downhill, so I put all this wood. You can see each log has a piece of wood there to keep them from rolling back and crushing my legs. And you did see me as well, I kind of brushed off some of the dirt. You know, if you're about to cut a log and there's some dirt on it, I think it's a great idea to brush off as much of that dirt as you can. It's going to keep your chain sharper much longer. Another tool I purchased over the summer, which I thought I was going to be using for splitting wood, was my Wetterlings splitting maul. And I've noticed that the Wetterlings maul is just a wonderful tool to have when you're cutting wood. For me, I use it for two different things. The first is to separate logs like this, where there's just a wisp of wood left near the ground. I can just use the maul to finish the cut. And the other thing I'll do with the Wetterlings maul is if it's a tree that wants to split, like on this job there were some sugar maples, I'll use the Wetterlings maul to split the wood as opposed to cutting it with a saw like I am here. So right now we're just going to go ahead and quarter these logs with the chainsaw. Nothing too fancy about what I'm doing. Again, I'm cleaning off the dirt on top of the log there to keep the chain sharp. Here I'm making the cut to finish quartering the log. No matter what you do, there always seems to be a technique to do it the best or the easiest, and apparently here you got to grab those quarters from the top and pull out. Every time I put gas in the chainsaw, I do what I call a maintenance sharpening on the chain. So my chain is either sharp or dull. There really is no in between. That orange dot on the guide bar serves no purpose for sharpening. It's only there to give the camera something to focus on. Next, I'm going to just check the depth gauges and see how they're looking. And it looks like we need to take a little bit off, so we'll go ahead and do that. And when you're filing your rakers, you want to make sure that the front of it has a nice smooth curve to it, because that's going to give you less vibration when the saw is cutting. I decided to include this clip of me taking a drink of water because it's so important to stay hydrated through the day. I mean, your body really craves that water. And what I'm doing here is taking my chainsaw out of my Chainmeister bar vise, which has really raised my sharpening on the job to a new level. You can certainly use, you know, a stump vise, but I just really enjoy that Chainmeister. The saw is at the right height and held very securely. The gas can I'm using there is called a Type 2 gas can, and what a wonderful thing it is. There are absolutely no parts to lose on this gas can. You don't have to use a funnel to fill things up. You don't have to, you know, put the spout on the can. You fill it up. When you need to pour gas, you just squeeze that little handle, and the gas comes out. So if you do one thing after this video, just please go take a look at Type 2 gas cans. I really like this container for the bar and chain oil. There's very little room between the cap on the container and where you pour, so it's very easy to pour the bar and chain oil without getting it all over the saw. And here I am, I'm going to be using a ramp to load the truck with wood. Whatever you can do to make the job easier is always a better thing. And then when I go back to get this next piece of wood off, I'm going to use that Wetterling's maul yet again to go ahead and knock that wood off the log as opposed to trying to fight with it. It's really handy to have that maul in the woods. Alright folks, well I'm going to grab some lunch right now. I've got salami and provolone with some spicy mustard, a couple pickle spears, and then some pretzel rods. There is going to be a part 2 to this video, so keep on the lookout for that. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below. And thanks a lot for watching.